guys, there's some spicy Battlemage leaks coming out. If you're unaware, Battlemage is Intel's Arc's next generation. Intel is trying to make their way into the graphics card scene, and they're trying to battle Nvidia and AMD for our hard-earned dollar. If you care about competition, if you care about lower priced GPUs, you should care about Intel Arc. Now, if a new player in the graphics card space doesn't excite you, you probably haven't gotten a new graphics card in a little while because it's tough out there. We're paying $500-600 plus for our 70 class and it is not fun. I did want to talk about what we know about Battlemage so far and its performance estimates and price estimates for these cards. Intel gave us a great dive into Lunar Lake, which has Battlemage XE cores. And basically, we're getting a 50% performance uplift per XE core because Battlemage has an 8 XE core GPU. And they're saying here we get a 50% increase in performance over Meteor Lake's 8 core XE core GPU. So it's an 8 core GPU to an 8 core GPU and we're getting a 50% uplift. And that's crazy. What's even more crazy is after I did some digging, I found that this GPU will have a boost clock of 2 gigahertz, this Lunar Lake GPU. And Meteor Lake's GPU actually had a boost clock of 2.2. So we're having a clock speed regression here, and that's most likely for efficiency. But we're getting 50% more performance. Now that is what I like to see here. With the same amount of XE cores, we're getting 50% more performance than the Meteor Lake iGPU, but with a 9.1% decrease in clock speed. Is that due to the TSMC 3nm node? Heck yes it is. And are they tuning that for efficiency? Heck yes they are. But you know, that made me kind of think, are we going to get huge clock speed increases with Battlemage? And that remains to be seen. It's going to be built on TSMC 4nm, which can definitely clock pretty quick. I'm getting my leaks from Graphically Challenged, and he might have got these from Red Gaming Tech. I know he typically does that, but I think he's thrown in a little of his predictions here. But yeah, he's staring at me crazy. He's like, really? You're using my content again? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I am. I am going to link you in the description for all the people that want to go watch your video. I've kind of just took snapshots this time of his estimates here. So there's going to be a new B550, B580, and B770. And we're going to start with the B770, just starting right off the bat with the high end. Don't want to keep you guys waiting. He is saying this B770 is going to have 32 XE cores, which is the exact amount we had with the A770. It's the same amount of XE cores. We aren't even getting a core increase, and that kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie. He's also saying we're going to get 3 gigahertz clock speed on this bad boy. That's 25% increase, and that is spicy. I'm not sure why we always assume we're going to get a huge clock speed increase, but hey, maybe we could with this GPU. You never know. And 608 gigabytes of memory bandwidth, and this is on a 16 gigabyte GPU, 256-bit bus. So that's 19% more memory bandwidth. I don't think Arc was anywhere close to maximizing its memory bandwidth, so whether that's going to make a difference or not, probably won't. Yeah, so what is his performance estimate for Battlemage B770? He's thinking it's going to be 56% faster. And he's also said it's going to be $349. So I'm going to give my price predictions here. 56% faster. So let's see the math here. We're getting 25% more clock speed, apparently. Well, what's interesting is Lunar Lake, which has Battlemage GPU cores, performs 50% faster with the same amount of XE cores and less clock speed. So actually here, I think he's almost lowballing it. And I would say we're going to get actually 60 to 65% faster on this B770. And, you know, with overclocking and everything, getting that clock speed higher, we could even get higher than this. So I'm going to say that this B770 yeah, it's going to be about 40, 70 level performance. And for that, I think, yeah, it's going to be 350. They're going to price this at about 350. I could even see them lowering this to 300 if they really wanted to be competitive here. It's going to be on a 256-bit bus, just like the A770. So technically, whatever they're pricing this for, they could get pretty close with the price of the A770. It's going to be a very similarly built card. It's probably going to even have less silicon than the A770. So anywhere from 350, I think, you know, they would probably go with 350 for that. They could even drop this down to 300 after a few months to entice buyers, I think. I did skip the B750. It has the same Xe cores as the A750, so the increase should be very linear, and it's going to even have more memory bandwidth per Xe core. So I would expect around 60% for the B750 as well. There's nothing really to talk about, so that's kind of why I skipped it. Now the B580, and he has that with 20 Xe cores, 3 gigahertz boost clock, 8 megabytes of L2, and 12 gigabytes of memory, 16% less Xe cores, 11% less memory bandwidth. We are getting a 25% clock speed increase. All the numbers that he has here are the performance of an A770. So the A770 is 100% of the performance. He's thinking this B580 is going to be matching the A770. So I don't know what his math is looking like there. But for me, I think this is going to be 55% faster. You know, and that's due to having less Xe cores because of that. And, you know, you got 12 gigs of VRAM. It's probably going to be around a 6700 XT or to a 6750 XT competitor with 12 gigs of VRAM. It's probably going to be about 250 for this card. If they price this at 200, I would be kind of surprised. But I could see them going to 200. But I would say 250 to 200 for this graphics card. The main thing that's going to make that price hard is that 12 gigs of VRAM though, for sure. And yeah, that level of performance for that is going to be pretty good, I think, especially if they can come out with new versions of XeSS, maybe a frame gen technology that's similar to NVIDIA's. And, you know, they're going to have the AI hardware on their side, and they'll actually come out with software that leverages it, unlike AMD. And finally, we're going to have the B550. Now, this one could be the star of the show here with giving us 12 gigs of VRAM at such a low end SKU. I mean, hey, that's going to be very nice if they can price this appropriately here. Now, this one only has 14 Xe cores. I didn't do the math, but let me go ahead and do it right quick. I actually put it here because there's no A550, but I'm just going to plug in the A580 specs here. So 14 over 24, and that's 50. So we have 42% less Xe cores, and that's not looking good. 42% less E cores, 11% less memory bandwidth, and 25% clock speed. And with that all said, I think that this is going to come around an A580. We're going to have much less Xe cores, a little bit less memory bandwidth, and that's going to probably be around a RX 6600. They're probably going to price it around 170 or maybe 150, but I think it's going to be really hard for them to hit that 150 price bracket with 12 gigs of VRAM. I really do. That's going to take up like a huge portion of that. They would make like no profit on this, which they already don't on ARC cards. So, you know, it really depends. Yeah, overall, the B770, 60 to 65%. So I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit faster than its 56% calculation there. It's probably going to be about a 4070. The B580, it's going to be about 55% faster. And it's kind of weird how he did that. Like, I wish he would have done it to where, I mean, I guess this makes more sense like when you're looking at a chart, like just like, oh, that's 98% of the performance. But I would have liked to see like, you know, this is 50% faster than the A580, because that A580 buyer would want to upgrade to like an A5 or B580, you know, like that tier of buyer usually buys that tier of graphics card. 4070 performance at the highest end, RX 6600 performance at the lowest end. Hopefully the ray tracing will be a lot better. That's going to be a little bit too hard to estimate today, but if that ray tracing is a lot better than these performance tiers, that would be kind of cool. Also, if they come out with a new upscaling tech or AI feature, maybe that could push people to buy their ARC cards. But hey, at least we can count on Intel this fall to give us some good deals on some GPUs. Are you excited for Intel ARC Battlemage, or do you really just want it to come out so your 5070 can be cheaper? Let me know.